When I handed that manila envelope to Ryan's wife at 6:15 in the morning and watched her face go from confusion to horror in under 10 seconds, I knew I'd made the right call. Welcome to Cheating Story Exposed. Real stories, real justice, no sugarcoating. You know what? I notice many of you watching haven't hit that subscribe button yet. Here's the thing, we drop stories like this every single day. Stories about people who got played, got smart, and got even. If you want to see how these situations really end, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 41 years old, a senior systems analyst for a mid-sized tech firm in Portland, and until 6 months ago I thought I had a pretty solid marriage. Let me start 3 months before everything exploded. It was late June, one of those perfect Pacific Northwest evenings where the temperature hits 75 and everyone pretends winter never happened. My wife Jillian came home from work with this energy I hadn't seen in years. Not happy energy, excited energy. There's a difference. She'd been working late a lot. Marketing director position, always some campaign, deadline, or client emergency. 15 years together, I'd learned to read the signs. When she's stressed, she's quiet. When she's overwhelmed, she's short-tempered. But this was different. She was glowing. That Friday night, she suggested we have drinks on our back deck. We had this nice setup, string lights, comfortable chairs, view of Mount Hood on clear days. She poured herself wine, which was normal. What wasn't normal was the way she kept checking her phone and smiling. I'm not the jealous type. Never have been, but I'm also not blind. Around 8:30, her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and this little smile played at the corner of her mouth. Then she looked up at me and said something I'll never forget. You know what the office gave me today? A VIP pool pass. One of the gentlemen at work said I'd earned it after all my hard work on the Cascade campaign. VIP pool pass, from a gentleman, not my colleague or someone from marketing. A gentleman. I took a sip of my beer and asked which pool. She waved it off, said it was just a membership thing, some fitness club partnership the company had. Then she changed the subject to whether we should repaint the living room. That night I couldn't sleep. Something about the way she'd said it. The practiced casualness, the specific phrasing. I'm a systems guy. I'm trained to spot patterns, to notice when data doesn't match expected parameters. At 2 in the morning, I was still staring at the ceiling. Jillian was asleep beside me, phone on her nightstand like always, plugged in and face down. I'd never checked her phone in 15 years, never felt the need. But that phrase kept looping in my head. VIP pool pass from a gentleman. I got up, went downstairs, made tea I didn't drink. Sat in my home office and opened my laptop. Started thinking like an analyst instead of a husband. If there was something going on, there would be patterns, changed behavior, new routines. I pulled up our cell phone account. We had a family plan, both lines visible on the same bill. Scrolled through the last 3 months of data usage. There it was. Starting in early April, her data usage had spiked. Not dramatically, but consistently. Lots of usage between 9 p.m. and midnight. She'd been going to bed around 11 lately, phone in hand. I checked our credit card statements next. Nothing obviously suspicious. Her spending patterns were normal: gas, groceries, her regular lunch spots near the office. But then I noticed something. Every Thursday for the past 2 months, there was a charge at Lombardi's, this Italian place downtown. $25 to $35 right around noon. Jillian hated Italian food. Said it was too heavy, made her feel sluggish in the afternoon. I sat back in my chair and did what I do best. I built a spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, her stated schedule. Column C, actual location based on credit card charges. Column D, data usage patterns. Column E, behavior changes at home. By 4 in the morning, I had 3 months of data compiled. And the pattern was undeniable. Every Thursday, Italian restaurant. Every Wednesday evening, hair appointment she'd never mentioned. Every Tuesday night, data spike suggesting extensive messaging or social media activity. And starting 3 weeks ago, 2 Friday evenings where she'd texted me that she was working late, but there were no corresponding charges near her office building. I didn't confront her that morning. I was running on pure analysis mode now. If I was right, I needed more than patterns. I needed proof. Saturday morning, Jillian went to her yoga class. Same as every weekend for the past 5 years. I waited until her car disappeared down the street, then I went to our bedroom. Her phone was on the dresser. No password. She'd always said she had nothing to hide. I picked it up, hand steady, and opened her messages. The main thread list looked normal. Her sister, her mom, me, a group chat with her college friends. I scrolled down, nothing unusual. But then I noticed something. The message list only went back about a week. For someone who never deleted texts, that was wrong. I checked her call log, also scrubbed clean, only recent calls visible. Then I opened her email app. Work account automatically logged in. And there, buried in a folder labeled Receipts, I found them. Emails from someone named Ryan Hollister. Dozens of them. My hands were shaking now, but I kept my breathing steady. Opened the first one from 2 weeks ago. Yesterday afternoon was incredible. Can't stop thinking about the way you looked at me. Same time next Thursday. I didn't need to read more, but I did. I read every single one. 3 months of increasingly explicit emails, plans to meet, coded language that wasn't coded at all once you knew what you were looking for. References to hotels, to stolen hours, to a VIP arrangement they'd set up, the VIP pool pass. It wasn't a pool, it was them. Their private joke about their affair. I sat on the edge of the bed with her phone in my hand and made a decision. I wasn't going to explode. I wasn't going to confront her emotionally. I was going to treat this exactly like I'd treat a critical system failure at work. Identify the problem, document everything, execute a solution. I forwarded every email to my personal account, screenshots of everything, timestamps, headers, the works. Then I cleared the sent folder, closed everything, and put her phone back exactly where I'd found it. When Jillian came home from yoga, I was making breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice. She kissed me on the cheek and said something about her instructor introducing a new flow sequence. I smiled and asked how her week was looking. She said pretty normal, maybe a late meeting on Thursday. Of course, for the next 2 weeks I became a different person. Not angry Nathan, not heartbroken Nathan. Strategic Nathan. I installed recovery software on my laptop and retrieved all the deleted messages from her phone backup. Turns out she'd been deleting conversations with Ryan every few days, but the backups didn't lie. 6 months of messages. Everything from good morning beautiful texts to explicit planning of their meetups. I created a second spreadsheet. This one correlated their digital communication with my credit card records and her stated schedule. Every lie had a timestamp. Every hotel meeting had a paper trail. Ryan Hollister. I looked him up on LinkedIn. Also worked at Jillian's company, but in business development, different department. 43 years old, married, 2 kids. His wife's name was Amanda Hollister. She worked as a registered nurse at Providence Hospital. I saved all of that. Information too. The thing about betrayal is that once you know it's happening, you see it everywhere. The way Jillian smiled at her phone. The new perfume she started wearing. The fact that she'd suddenly become interested in going to the gym more often. The Thursday meetings that always ran late. I could have confronted her. Could have thrown the evidence in her face and demanded answers. But here's what I learned about myself in those 2 weeks. I didn't want answers. I wanted justice. And I wanted it delivered in a way that left no room for manipulation, no chance for her to spin a narrative, no opportunity for Ryan to escape consequences. So I kept playing the perfect husband, asked about her day, made dinner, suggested we watch a movie on Friday nights, all while building my case file like I was preparing for the most important presentation of my career. 3 weeks after I'd found the emails, Jillian came home on a Wednesday evening and announced she was going on a business trip. Seattle, she said, marketing conference. 3 days, leaving Friday morning, back Sunday evening. I said that sounded great, asked if she wanted me to drive her to the airport. She said no, the company was covering a car service. That night I checked her email again. No conference, but there was a hotel reservation confirmation in her personal email. The Sentinel Hotel in downtown Portland. 2 nights. King bed, reservation for 2 under Ryan Hollister's name. They weren't even leaving town. They were spending a weekend together 20 minutes from our house. That's when I knew it was time. Thursday morning, I took a personal day from work. Told Jillian I had some errands to run, might be out most of the day. She barely looked up from her phone as she said, okay, first stop, a print shop. I printed every email, every text message, every credit card statement that showed the pattern. Organized them chronologically in a binder. Clean, professional, undeniable, second stop. My attorney's office. I'd made the appointment 3 days earlier, showed him everything. He looked through it, nodded slowly, and said I had more than enough for a divorce filing based on adultery. We spent 2 hours going over my options, discussing asset protection, talking about the timeline. I signed a retainer agreement, told him I'd let him know when to file. He looked at me kind of strangely, probably wondering why I seemed so calm. Truth was, I felt calm. I felt clearer than I had in months. This wasn't about emotion anymore. This was about executing a plan. Third stop, Office Depot. Bought 2 large manila envelopes, the kind with the metal clasp. Fancy paper, the kind that feels important when you hold it. That evening, Jillian packed her bag for her conference. I watched from the bedroom doorway as she folded clothes carefully, made sure to include her nicest dresses, the lingerie I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. She looked up and caught me watching. Smiled. "I'll miss you this weekend." I smiled back. "I'll miss you too." Friday morning, she left at 8, kissed me goodbye, rolled her suitcase to the Uber that definitely wasn't a company car service, and disappeared down the street. I gave it 30 minutes. Then I got in my car and drove to Ryan Hollister's house. I'd looked up his address 2 weeks earlier. Nice neighborhood in Beaverton, about 25 minutes from our place. 2-story colonial, well-maintained lawn, basketball hoop in the driveway. The kind of house that screams stable family life. His car wasn't in the driveway. I'd checked his social media. He played golf Friday mornings with colleagues. Wouldn't be home until noon at least. I sat in my car down the street and waited. At 9:15, the front door opened. Amanda Hollister came out in scrubs, probably heading to a shift at the hospital. 2 kids followed her, teenager and a younger boy, maybe 12. She drove them somewhere, school or activities. Maybe, and came back alone 20 minutes later. At 9:40, I watched her go inside. I waited another 5 minutes. Then I took the first manila envelope from my passenger seat, walked up to their door and knocked. She answered quickly, smiled politely. Pleasant-looking woman, probably late 30s, tired eyes that suggested nursing night shifts. "Can I help you?" I introduced myself. Said I was Nathan Cross, and I needed to speak with her about something important regarding her husband. Her smile faded. "Is Ryan okay? Did something happen?" I handed her the envelope. "Your husband is fine physically, but there's something you need to see. I'm sorry this is how you're finding out, but you deserve to know the truth." She took the envelope, confusion clear on her face. "I don't understand. Who are you?" I kept my voice level, calm. "My wife's name is Jillian Cross. She works with your husband. For the past 6 months, they've been having an affair. Everything you need to verify this is in that envelope. Phone records, emails, hotel reservations, including the reservation for this weekend at the Sentinel Hotel downtown, where they are right now." Her face went white. "That's not. Ryan's at his golf game." I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshot I'd taken that morning. Ryan's Instagram story, posted 45 minutes ago. A photo of the Sentinel Hotel lobby with the caption, "Weekend Getaway," and a champagne glass emoji. Amanda stared at the screen, then at the envelope, then at me. "I don't know you," she said slowly. "Why would you make this up?" I didn't get defensive. I'd expected this. "You don't have to believe me. Everything in that envelope is verifiable. Check his credit card statements. They're under his name. Check his phone records. I included his number and the times he's been calling and texting my wife. Check his location history if you have access to his iPhone account. Or just call the hotel and ask if Ryan Hollister has a reservation starting today." She opened the envelope with shaking hands, pulled out the first page. It was a printed email from Ryan to Jillian dated 2 weeks ago, explicit enough that there was no room for misinterpretation. I watched her read it, watched the moment it hit her. She made this sound, not quite a gasp, more like all the air leaving her lungs at once. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. "I wanted you to know before I moved forward with my own divorce. You deserve the same information I have. What you do with it is your choice." She looked up at me, tears starting to form. "How long have you known?" 3 weeks. I needed to be sure before I said anything. "And you didn't tell her you knew?" I shook my head. "I wanted to make sure you had the information first. She thinks I'm clueless. He probably thinks I am too." Amanda looked back down at the papers, flipped to the next page, hotel reservations, then the next page, text messages. She kept reading each page, making her face harder. "There's my number in there," I said. "If you want to talk or if you need any additional documentation, call me. Again, I'm sorry. Nobody deserves this." I turned to leave, made it 3 steps before she called out, "Mr. Cross." I turned back. She was still holding the papers, but she looked different now, not shocked, angry. "What are you going to do?" "Divorce her. Already have an attorney. I'll be filing next week." "And Ryan, that's up to you. But if you need anything, records, testimony, whatever, you have my number." She nodded slowly. Then she said something that surprised me. "Thank you for telling me in person. Most people would have just sent an email." I nodded and walked back to my car, sat behind the wheel and took a deep breath. First step complete. My phone rang at 10:30. Unknown number. I answered. "This is Amanda Hollister. I just called the hotel. They confirmed the reservation. I also logged into our credit card account. You were right about everything." Her voice was steady, but I could hear the controlled fury underneath. "I'm sorry," I said again. "Stop apologizing. You did me a favor. I've been wondering why he's been so distant lately, why he suddenly cared about going to the gym. Now I know." She paused. "What time did you say they checked in?" "Based on the reservation, check-in was at 3 p.m. yesterday. But Jillian told me she was leaving this morning, so my guess is she actually went to the hotel last night after work. Ryan told me he had a golf weekend with clients, left yesterday afternoon." Another pause. "I'm going to the hotel." I sat up straighter. "Are you sure that's a good idea? I'm a registered nurse, Mr. Cross. I deal with difficult situations calmly every single day. I'm not going to cause a scene, but they're going to know that I know, both of them." I found myself smiling. "If you're going, would you mind if I joined you? I think Jillian should probably hear this from me in person, too. The Sentinel Hotel downtown. I can be there in 20 minutes. I'll meet you in the lobby." We hung up. I sat there for a moment, then started my car and headed downtown. Amanda was already in the lobby when I arrived, standing near the reception desk, still in her scrubs. She looked calmer than I expected. We nodded at each other. "Do you know what room?" she asked. "Reservation was under his name. I'm guessing they'd be less suspicious if you asked." She walked up to the reception desk. I stayed back, watched her talk to the clerk, watched the clerk check the computer, then nod and write something down. Amanda came back with a piece of paper. "Room 847, 8th floor." We took the elevator in silence. The hotel was nice, boutique-style, exposed brick, trying very hard to be Portland trendy. The kind of place you take someone when you want to impress them. 8th floor, we walked down the hallway until we found 847. Amanda and I looked at each other. "Do you want me to knock or do you want to?" I asked. "I'll do it." She knocked, firm, confident, 3 sharp raps, silence for a moment, then movement inside, Ryan's voice muffled. "Hang on," the door opened. Ryan Hollister stood there in a hotel bathrobe, hair wet like he'd just showered. He saw Amanda first, and his entire face went through about 6 expressions in 2 seconds. Confusion, recognition, shock. Then he saw me standing behind her and panic set in. "Amanda." "What are you? How did you?" "Move," Amanda said flatly. He backed up automatically. We walked into the room. Nice suite, king bed with rumpled sheets, champagne bucket on the desk, 2 glasses. And there, coming out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, was Jillian. She saw me and froze. Nobody said anything for maybe 5 seconds. It felt like 5 hours. Then Jillian said my name. "Nathan." I didn't respond to her. I looked at Ryan. "You should probably get dressed. Your wife and I need to have a conversation with you both." "How did you find us?" Jillian's voice was high, strained. Finally looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I'd been married to for 15 years, standing in a hotel room in a towel, caught in the most cliched way possible. "You're a marketing director, Jillian. You really think I couldn't track credit card statements and phone records? I'm a systems analyst. Pattern recognition is literally what I do." Amanda walked past Ryan to the desk where their phones were charging. She picked up Ryan's phone, held it out to him. "Unlock it." "Amanda, let me explain." "Unlock your phone." He did. She took it, started scrolling. Her face got harder with each swipe. Then she threw it on the bed. 6 months, she said. "Emails, texts, everything. You told me you were working late. You told me you were going to golf. You told me you had client meetings." She looked at Jillian. "And you helped him lie to me." Jillian pulled the towel tighter around herself. "It's not. It wasn't supposed to." "Wasn't supposed to what?" I asked calmly. "Wasn't supposed to be serious, wasn't supposed to hurt anyone, wasn't supposed to end with your husband finding out." "Nathan, please," I held up a hand. "I don't want to hear it, not now, not here. What I want is for you to get dressed, check out of this room, and go wherever you want to go because you're not coming home. You can't kick me out of my own house. I'm not kicking you out. I'm telling you that if you show up there, I'll have already changed the locks. Your choice where you go, but it's not going to be our house." Ryan finally found his voice. "Look, man, I'm sorry. We never meant—" I turned to him. "I don't care what you meant. I care what you did. You're not my problem. Your wife will decide what happens with you, but stay away from mine." Amanda was still staring at Jillian. "Do you know we have 2 kids?" Jillian looked down. "I know. Did you care?" No answer. Amanda looked at Ryan. "I want you out of the house by Monday. I'll text you a list of what you can take. Everything else stays. And if you fight me on any of this, I'll make sure everyone at your company knows exactly why we're divorcing." Ryan's face went pale. "Amanda, please. We're done talking. Get dressed. Check out. I'll see you Monday when you pick up your things." She turned and walked out. I looked at Jillian one more time. "My attorney will contact you next week. Don't call me. Don't come to the house. We'll communicate through lawyers from now on." "Nathan, 15 years. 15 years," I repeated. And you threw it away for VIP pool pass jokes with someone else's husband. Congratulations. I walked out, found Amanda waiting by the elevators. Are you okay? I asked. She laughed, but there was no humor in it. Not even a little bit, but I will be. She looked at me. You. Same. We rode down in silence. In the lobby, she turned to me. Thank you for coming. I'm glad I didn't have to do that alone. Thank you for giving me the chance to see her face when she realized it was over. We exchanged numbers, promised to keep each other updated on how our respective divorce proceedings went. Then we walked out to our separate cars. I drove home, called a locksmith, and had every lock in the house changed by 3 p.m. Then I called my attorney and told him to file the papers Monday morning. Jillian tried calling 17 times that afternoon. I didn't answer. She tried texting. I blocked her number. At 6 p.m., she showed up at the house. I watched from the window as she tried her key, found it didn't work, then started pounding on the door. I opened it but kept the chain lock engaged. Nathan, you have to let me in. This is my house too. No, Jillian. This is the house we bought together, which means until the divorce is finalized, we both have legal rights to it. But I got here first, and I'm not required to give you access. You made your choice. Live with it. Where am I supposed to go? I almost laughed. You could try Ryan's place, but I think his wife might have some opinions about that, or maybe that hotel room you two seem to like so much, or your sister's place, or literally anywhere that isn't here. You're being cruel. That stopped me. I looked at her, really looked at her, through the gap in the door. I'm being cruel. I found out 3 weeks ago that my wife of 15 years was having an affair. I documented everything. I informed the other betrayed spouse because she deserved to know. I caught you in a hotel room with your affair partner, and somehow I'm the cruel one for not letting you walk back into our home like nothing happened. I made a mistake. No, a mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake is being late to dinner. What you did was a calculated, sustained betrayal that lasted 6 months. You deleted text messages. You lied about where you were. You made up entire trips. You looked me in the face every single day and chose to deceive me. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. She started crying. I still love you. I felt nothing. That surprised me more than anything. I thought I'd feel anger or pain or something, but standing there looking at her cry, I just felt tired. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter anymore. You made your choice, and I'm making mine. My choice is to move forward without you. Your things will be packed and available for pickup by next weekend. You'll be served with divorce papers on Monday. After that, all communication goes through attorneys. Nathan, please. I closed the door, locked it, walked away. She stayed outside for another 20 minutes, alternating between knocking and crying. Eventually, she left. The divorce took 4 months. Jillian tried to fight it at first, tried to claim I'd abandoned her or that she deserved reconciliation time. Her attorney quickly explained that abandonment doesn't apply when you're caught in a hotel room with someone else, and that I had enough evidence of adultery to make any judge extremely unsympathetic to her position. We split assets evenly, which honestly was more generous than I had to be. I could have pushed for more based on her infidelity, but I just wanted it over. The house was mine. I'd bought it before we were married, never added her to the deed. She got her car, half the savings, her retirement account. I kept everything else. Ryan and Amanda's divorce was messier. He tried to deny everything at first, then tried to claim it was a brief mistake, then eventually admitted it under pressure from his attorney when Amanda threatened to subpoena his work computer. He ended up losing the house, most of the savings, and only got supervised visitation with his kids until they were older. Amanda was ruthless. I respected that. Jillian tried to reach out a few times during the process. Emails I didn't open. Letters I returned unopened. One time she showed up at my office, but security escorted her out after I explained she wasn't welcome. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't hurt the way you expect it to. I thought I'd be devastated. I thought I'd have these dramatic moments of grief or anger, but mostly I just felt relieved. Relieved that I didn't have to wonder anymore. Relieved that I didn't have to pretend everything was fine. Relieved that I'd trusted my instincts and investigated instead of living in denial. 5 months after everything exploded, I was sitting in my newly redecorated living room. I'd gotten rid of almost every piece of furniture that reminded me of her when my phone rang. Amanda Hollister. Hey, I answered. How are you doing? Better, much better, actually. Divorce finalized last week. Ryan's already moved in with some girlfriend half his age, which is exactly what I expected. But I didn't call about that. What's up? I wanted to thank you. I know that's weird, but if you hadn't told me, I'd still be living in that lie. He'd still be sneaking around, and I'd still be wondering why my marriage felt so empty. You gave me the truth, and that let me take my life back. I smiled. You're welcome, and thank you for being brave enough to go to that hotel. I think we both needed to see their faces. We did. She paused. Listen, I know this is probably weird, but a few of my friends are getting together next weekend. Bonfire, drinks, very casual. Would you want to come? No pressure, just thought you might want to be around people who understand what you've been through. I thought about it. 6 months ago, I would have said no. Would have isolated myself, worked through it alone. But something about the way Amanda asked, genuine, no ulterior motive, just one person who'd been through hell reaching out to another, made me say yes. I'd like that. Great, I'll text you the details. That's where I am now, moving forward. I sold the house last month. Too many memories, too much space for one person. Bought a condo downtown, smaller but modern, completely mine. Started going to the gym, not because I'm trying to find someone new, but because I realized I'd let myself go during the marriage. Reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with. Took up hiking. Work's going well. Got a promotion, actually. Turns out when you're not being emotionally drained by a failing marriage, you have a lot more energy to put into your career. Do I trust people the same way? No, probably never will. But I've learned that trust isn't about being naive or optimistic. It's about being smart enough to verify, strong enough to handle the truth, and brave enough to act when your instincts tell you something's wrong. I heard through mutual acquaintances that Jillian and Ryan tried to date each other after both divorces finalized. Lasted about 6 weeks before they realized that a relationship built on sneaking around and hotel rooms doesn't translate well to actual daily life. She's living with her sister now, working at a different company. I don't know much more than that, and I don't want to. Last week, I ran into an old colleague at a coffee shop. We got to talking, and he mentioned his divorce a few years back, similar situation. He said something that stuck with me. The betrayal hurts, but what hurts more is realizing you wasted time on someone who didn't value what you built together. The real victory isn't revenge. It's getting your life back and realizing you're better without them. He was right. I don't feel victorious because I exposed Jillian and Ryan. I feel victorious because I'm sitting here in my own space, living my own life with people who actually respect me, building something new that's completely mine. That manila envelope I handed to Amanda at 6:15 in the morning didn't just expose an affair. It exposed the truth. And the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than living a lie. Would I do it again the same way? Absolutely. Calm, calculated, strategic. No drama, no begging, no giving them the chance to manipulate the narrative or make me the bad guy. Just facts, evidence, and consequences. They made their choices. I made mine. And my choice was to refuse to be the fool in someone else's story. That's the real VIP pass, knowing your worth and refusing to accept anything less.